You're tuned to Trust One Realty, making sure your next move is a smart move. Now here's your host, Arbi.
Welcome to Trust One Realty. I'm your host, Arbi. Today's sponsor is Urban Housing and Development. They do new development for your residential needs. Contact them at 818-813-1619. Email Sara at uhdus.com and let them know Trust One Realty referred you. The purpose of this show is to educate our listeners regarding the real estate industry. Now, let me tell you a little bit about my background. I created a multi-million-dollar company with two partners with an investment of $30,000 in 2005. While my company was operating, I decided to get involved in the real estate by flipping houses, and in some cases, I would buy and hold the properties. One thing I did realize in my 10 years in real estate as an investor was the lack of customer service. I felt like I was being seen as a transaction rather than someone who needs agents' expertise. This was my experience I received and decided to be an agent to provide the services that the industry was lacking and the knowledge that was not being provided to the customers. I started Trust One Realty to offer transparency, knowledge, and expertise to clients in the residential and commercial real estate. We offer educational seminars similar to what we are doing on this show. I always bring guests to my show and to seminars who are experts in the different parts of the real estate transaction. Trust One Realty also gives back to the community by donating non-perishable foods and donations. In addition, Trust One Realty guarantees to all of our clients that we will exceed your expectations in any transaction. Trust One Radio Show will be your resource to help you navigate through one of life's more stressful events, the largest purchase you may ever make, a home. Trust One Realty also has seminars to provide you with wealth of knowledge for free from active agents and loan officers in the industry. Trust One Realty is here to answer any questions you may have. So we have our guest, Sara from Connect. So don't you go nowhere. We'll be right back.
You're tuned to Trust One Realty, making sure your next move is a smart move. Now here's your host, Arbi.
This segment is sponsored by Connect, and our guest for today is Sara. How are you, Sara, today?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. So, Sara, just to introduce Sara, she does apps for companies. She works with mainly real estate and mortgage companies and offers personalized apps so they could provide it to their customers when the customers download it from the phone. Sara, can you explain a little bit on how you came up to the app business?
Yeah, actually, I have a network marketing background of almost 10 years. And yes, I do sound young. I'm only 29. But being in that world where you're having to constantly build a rapport and a business and network, I saw that there was always a niche. And I was always looking for a tool that really allowed me to build a stronger engagement with my network, whether they were interested in what I had at the time or not. And so about 5 years ago, a technology company just kind of fell into my lap. I wasn't really looking for anything. And that's kind of where I fell in love with technology. I realized that technology is a huge piece of our business these days, regardless of what business you're in.
Yes.
So about a little less than 6 months ago, a very good friend of mine who happens to own multiple businesses as well, we decided to partner together to really build a tool that allows more specifically realtors and mortgage professionals to really build that customer engagement long-term, not just short-term, and to retain those customers as well.
Right. Well, that's a good niche because there really isn't that many out there. I've seen a few, but only a few. Now, just for our listeners, what's the purpose of the apps?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different points. One, these days, every business has a website, and websites are becoming a little obsolete, but we have them because it shows that we're legit. We have something to give our consumer showing, hey, this is my business, yes, I'm real, and kind of shows credibility. But these days, especially with smartphones and our technology growing so fast, websites aren't really built for smartphones, and everyone searches everything. They do 98% of their business through a smartphone these days. And it doesn't really build customer engagement. There's really no relationship through a website. So what we do is we offer businesses or individuals with their own personalized and branded mobile app, and you're published on the Google Play and Apple Store. So you're literally searched, which really shows credibility and that you have a legit business. You kind of have your stuff together in a sense, and you're current. And so through this app, you can, put in your own content, especially for realtors and mortgage professionals. You can put in your listings. You can put in that IDX or MLS number. But you can also do things like push notifications and let them know what's happening in the industry. Maybe a new listing you have, or maybe just, hey, happy holidays. But it's really building that extra engagement. And there's a whole analytics side. You can actually see your ROI. Unlike all these flyers that people hand out and all these business cards that end up in the trash. You're top of mind to that consumer.
Right. It's more like a website, but on the go, because it offers pretty much the same information and the same content like on a website, but with the easier accessing the actual tools without downloading the content on the website, which is really slow because it's just too much content.
Right. And so it's kind of condensing everything from your website to your social media to your listings to everything. It just kind of condenses everything. And the main point of it is to really build that customer experience. If people like you, they're going to respect you. And if you add value to them, they're going to want to come back or especially, refer you. So it's all about giving them that proper experience. And it is through a mobile app these days.
Right. Now, when customers actually use the app, is it good for them to click and go outside of the app, or is it's better to keep them in the app? So the longer they're in the app, the more likely that they're gonna contact you.
Right. So that's kind of the point of the app, is everything stays within. A lot of what I've noticed from a lot of realtors is a lot of their clients end up going to Zillow or Redfin and kind of searching on their own, and they just kind of go into a whole other dimension, and it's kind of hard to reel them back in. So this just allows you to kind of give your client what they need, but in a controlled environment where everything's right there. So they don't, they may research Zillow and that sort of thing anyway, but it's a way where it kind of controls that in a sense, and you get to see all of that in real time.
Right. And your app also allows those to connect to other websites like IDX and other websites. What software do they use to connect to another website or another database?
So we have access to a couple dozen engineers. So what we do is it's really based off of what your brand is and what you want to integrate into the app. So we just pull, as long as it's a website or URL link, we just pull that and we can integrate it into the physical app, depending on what it is that you prefer.
That's called ACPI, right? Or something like that?
A KPI?
What was it?
A KPI?
There's a link that websites use that they put into the software, where the software uses that to connect between each other.
Yes, that's called a KPI.
The realtors could also use IDX, which is getting listings just like how Zillow and Redfin are able to get other agents' listings within itself.
Right, and they can also we can also pull their reviews. So I know a lot of realtors have reviews on Yelp, Zillow, Redfin, and they have reviews on, like, let's say 5 different sources. So we will actually pull those into the app, so it's all in one place.
Oh, wow.
It'll still show where that 5-star review came from, but it's all condensed in one, because no one, and I'm sure you would do it, neither would I, we're not going to go to 5 different sources and look at your 5-star review.
Right.
No one has time for that. So
Yeah.
so we condense all of that, we pull it in, but then also people can give a 5-star review on their app, and you as the app owner can actually control that review. So unlike Zillow, if it's there, it's there. You can't really do anything about it.
Right. Yeah, it's that actually makes it a lot easier for clients to be able to review you within your own site. And if they decide that, well, maybe this is a in-house review, and they could, when they go out and view their website, they'll see exact same reviews, where that gives them credit that they're actually got the review. It's a real review.
Right. Yeah, so it still shows the source, so that it shows it's legit. But it's just easy and accessible to that client, because we're very impatient these days. We're like kids. We have a very short attention span. So you can show just everything in one place. Say, here you go, check it out, let's chat later. Right? It's a lot easier than saying, hey, go to my website, go to Zillow, go to Redfin, go here, go there. It's going to overwhelm them. They're not going to do it, and you kind of lost them at that point.
Right. And what do you recommend? What would you say to clients or anybody who's interested to buy or sell a house? How beneficial would be for their real estate agent to have some kind of an app where how would it help the client on a day-to-day basis? What is the importance of their agent to have one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a couple of different things. And again, I'm going to go back to when we create an app, we can really create it to whatever that agent wants. Each agent wants something specific. So some agents have said, hey, I want my app tailored to a specific area in Orange County, right? Because that's the area they deal with. So we can tailor to that. So what it does for the client is, number one, it shows that the agent has credibility. They get to learn about the agent, which is, if you like the person, they're going to want to do business with you. Two, if they maybe see a listing or something inside of your app, they can say, hey, this is the one I want. They can kind of shop around in that area. Or two, if maybe they see a listing on Zillow or something that they really like, they can communicate with the agent through the app and say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. You could even put together a profile for that client, where they would go into the app, they would put in their username and password, and they can kind of see their profile, so can the agent. They can both make notes, so they're kind of staying in communication. Because what I found, talking to a lot of my friends who are realtors, is that communication piece between all these, groups of people that you have to deal with in closing a deal, is there's that communication piece, so everyone's on the same page in that sense. And then the client feels like they're engaged, they're part of it, they're in the loop, they're in the now. Right.
Because I've actually offered Homeseeker to clients, but Homeseeker was very plain. But what I liked about it, other than most of the stuff I didn't, but the specific things I liked was the person could drive around and could pick the house wherever they are. You would use the GPS, and they would send that particular house directly to the agent. And then this way we could actually find out which house they're interested. The other option was, a lot of customers I speak to, one of the questions that they have is, how do I get my loans, like the net sheet, where it tells you how much the down payment is required for X amount dollar house, how much down payment, what the monthly would be, like a rough estimate. So as they're driving around, they're looking at a house, and the house is listed as $699. They'll be able to just punch that in and give them the estimate of how much they're looking at. That's one of the biggest things that I see a lot of customers don't know, is they think that they can't afford it because they have no app to calculate that. So those are two of the most important ones I ran into with clients who really love that method.
Yeah, so actually, I'm glad you brought that up, because the calculator and rates are probably the two biggest things we get asked about in this industry. And so we do have a calculator where you can actually plug in and calculate what your monthly payment would be. It'll even show the amortization as well. And then also, we can also create a calculator which shows 3 different comparisons. Okay, if I put this much down payment, what will that look like? So when you go to a client, you can actually do this through the app. You say, hey, look, here's 3 options. Which one works best for you? So you're kind of giving them options, but you're kind of pushing them into the next step. If a company, which I know a lot of real estate companies or mortgage companies have their own calculator, we can use their own system. So it doesn't have to be our calculator. It can be theirs. But again, that's if they have it, or I know there are hundreds of calculator systems out there. So we can help you search which one works best for you and what you do, and then we can integrate that into the app.
Okay, but that's good, because I want to find out if you guys actually are able to work with something like that.
Yes.
And then for when customers download the app, it's free for the download.
Yes.
And is there any fees after they download it and they start using the app? Is there any additional fees that they would have to pay for?
For the downloader, now if an app owner has things that they want to sell, as far as maybe it's a package or items or something, that's where we go into what's called the shopping cart, and then someone can go ahead and purchase. And we actually have a partner company called Ohana Merchant Services through our credit card processing that offers that. So I know some real estate companies, some huge companies actually in LA, they're creating their own bottle of wine, their own chocolate, all these branded things, and they want a shopping cart in their app so that their clients can purchase those items, but it also makes it easier and more user experience. That's
actually a really good idea. What's the name of the app?
The app is called Connect.
Okay.
Enekt. So it's connecting with people, but it's also kinetic energy.
Right. And just so our listeners, if they actually want to see a sample of it, so they could actually let their agents know if they have something like this or if they could get something like this, is there an app that they could download from iPhone, iTunes, that they could actually they could view it themselves, and they could also let their agent know if it's something that the agent may know, may not know, or if they would like the agent to have it, so they'll be able to be in contact with them?
Yeah, I mean, there are apps that are already published on the Apple and Google Play Store. Now, those are people's personal apps, so I probably wouldn't recommend to download it because they'll probably get contacted. But what they can do is if they go to our website, which is www.ohanaams.com, they'll see our credit card processing, but they'll also see our Connect platform under the About tab. And we can send them demos that are specifically towards the real estate and how it can be tailored to them. They can physically download and don't have to be contacted by another agent who's thinking that they're going to purchase a home.
Right. Well, do you have a demo one, or the best way is the website?
The best way is the website, or they can actually contact me directly. My contact information is area code 253-880-2333, and we can actually give them a full free consultation where we kind of figure out what is their brand, where are they now in their business, where do they want to take it, and then we can take them through the demo apps, what we offer. We offer up to 21 different features, and then if there's a feature that we don't have, we can actually build that tailored to their brand.
Okay.
And then we kind of take them through that process and really create it to what they want and what they want their client's user experience to be.
Now, Sara, do you have other companies that you offer the service to other than real estate agents and mortgage officers?
We do. So we can really tailor to any industry, any demographic. So we do focus on mortgage and real estate. We have tapped into the medical, the spa industry, even private planes and restaurants and hotels. But it's really, again, goes back to tailoring to who are you, what is your brand, and what do you represent, and what do you want to portray, and really staying top of mind. Just to kind of give the listeners a visual, when you share your app with someone, your physical face or company logo, whatever you prefer, is physically on that person's phone. So every time they open that phone, you're staying top of mind to them. So it's not like, hey, I lost their business card 6 months ago, I can't find it. You're literally staying top of mind, and you're leaving them with something when you first meet them, whether it's at a coffee shop, a networking event, whatever it is, however you meet them. You're giving them a good impression. And the first impression, we know, is everything these days. So if you leave them with something, especially an app, number one, they're going to say, what do you mean you have an app? Okay, let's chat, because they're just impressed just with the fact that you have an app. That's like the conversation starter. And then you can definitely go from there.
Right, and while they're standing in Starbucks line waiting for their latte, they're going through their phone. But I did remember the last company you worked for. There was an option where you could view the agent's YouTube videos. It was embedded.
Yes.
Is the option still on this one as well?
Yes. So we can take any YouTube video or audio, whatever you have, and we take it and we embed it into the app. So they're physically watching it within instead of it redirecting and going outside of the app, which we discussed before is not what you want.
Yes.
So we want it all inside. And two, it actually looks very sharp and very presentable, that they can just watch it straight through the physical app itself. Yeah,
that actually, I thought it was really great with the videos, because a lot of real estate agents have videos of the properties that I want their clients to be the first ones to view it, rather than them going checking out YouTube.com or giving them a link. All they need to know is go to my app, and you could see it in my app where you could view the video or MP3 file. I actually like that a lot. I thought that was for me, it was a game changer on that, because this way I could keep every link and direction to the client short and simple.
Right. And it just looks sharp. I mean, I found some people would send me emails with just like 10 links, and I'm like, I'm not going to go to all of those. It just doesn't look presentable, and it looks overwhelming. But when you just have it in one place and it's just a video, people like videos. That's how a lot of people learn, is through video. And especially if it's, a 2-minute or 3-minute video, they're more likely to watch it and say, oh, I have to click on this link, and I have to go to YouTube. Even though it's simple steps, they're like, oh, I'll do it later, and then they just never get to it. This way, going back to the Starbucks example, is, hey, you just met someone maybe standing in line getting your latte, and they ask you your business card and say, hey, look, I have an app. Let me send it to you. Hey, by the way, check out these videos, maybe give them a little tour of your app, and then you kind of go along your way. It's kind of like your 30-second elevator speech. You don't feel like you have to so-called barf on them, which a lot of people know that term.
Yeah. Right.
That's what happens these days, because your business card, it just has your name, number, email, and then you feel like, okay, how do I portray who I am and what I do in 30 seconds? And that's where we lose people, because people just don't understand it. It's that communication piece that we all struggle with.
Right. Just for our listeners, we are live with Sara from Connect, and we're talking about apps for real estate agents and lenders, and some other companies in the medical field. But if you want to know if your industry will be able to get an app for you guys, make sure you guys contact Sara, and she'll provide a free, I'm assuming free consultation, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so free consultation about if it's what they could do for you as service-wise, how they could increase your visibility and customer connection, because it's all about the customers wanting to be direct connection with the company that they want to service them in whatever industry that they're in. It's very important to use the technology that comes in and try to use it to gain business, increase sales, customer support, and basically the whole leveraging of being available. Because most companies nowadays, let me know if you agree with this, Sara. Most companies, after the sale, there's really nothing for the customer to come back to if they want to get additional services. It's pretty much that one sale and the customer's forgotten.
Right.
So
I agree.
So these apps are not just about having an app. It's about the fact that it's an ongoing relationship with the customer. Even if it's not something that you may provide as service, but because they came to you, you could offer like a concierge service. Well, I don't offer that service. However, this company that I work with does offer that service, and they'll take care of you. I've called so many different places, real estate, outside. I came up, I said, I wanted them to help me out with escrow or lending or title, or even if I went to a mechanic shop, they ask them for something to fix my car or whatever else. When they tell me they don't do it, I ask them, is there any recommendations? They say, we don't have any recommendations. And I'm baffled that it's just like as if just because they can't service you, that's it. It ends there. I could have came back, but I may not, because now I'm not going to go back to a company that is not there to at least push me to the right direction. So it's something where you guys have to understand that nowadays it's all about connection, relationship, and being there for clients, even if you guys are not the ones to be offering the help. But at least they can be directed to the right party that will help them out in their ventures. Provide the listeners a full contact information, so if they wish to contact you, they'll be able to call you up and see if you get that free consultation. Yeah,
so our website is www.ohanams.com. So it's OHANAMS.com. And then they can contact us directly at area code 253-880-2333.
Awesome. Just in case if you guys missed it, I'll have it on my Facebook page. So you could view at Arbi Agent on Facebook. I'll have the information there for you to review. Or you could just send us a quick comment. But Sara, thank you for being part of Trust One Realty show. And
thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. If you have anybody you want to do a shout out to, go ahead. It's all you.
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to Ohana Merchant Services, and then to you, Arbi. Thank you so much for having me, and for our company Connect and continuing to help those in the mortgage and real estate industry.
Thank you for calling, Sara. Don't you go nowhere. When we come back, we'll have Arbi's Pick of the Week.
Dash Radio.
Island Block Radio presents Trust One Realty with your host, Arbi.
I'm your host, Arbi, and now we're going to talk about my Pick of the Week, sponsored by Trust One Realty. Today's Pick of the Week is Long Beach, where my man Q is his neighborhood, his hometown. Now, most people, when they think of Long Beach, they think of the pier, the coastline, the oil factory. I actually stopped by there about 2 weeks ago, and I'm telling you, the apartments that they're building, brand new developments, modern, it's going to pick up. It's actually picking up now. It's going to become the top pick of residential and commercial. So if you live in Long Beach, and if you're planning on leaving, you may want to reconsider that thought. That's the Pick of the Week, and I hope you enjoyed the show today. Tune in for next show. Contact me for any questions, comments, or need contact information of our guests or sponsors. Please drop a comment on my Facebook page at Arbi Agent, which episode, including guest or sponsor name. There you go, folks. Our 4th episode of Trust One Realty. Hope to see you next week from all of us here at Trust One Realty, where we hope to make your next move a smart move. I'm your host, Arbi, and we'll see you next week.
You're tuned to Trust One Realty, making sure your next move is a smart move.